Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Alex. I'm coming to you with my WWE review for Summerslam that was on August 23rd, 2015 from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Before we start, I've just got to say this is my first video that I've ever done. So if anything goes wrong or I cock up about 400 times, then I have to apologise because that's just what's probably more than likely going to happen. I'll put this up on YouTube when I'm done. I'll put it on Twitter. I'll put it on Facebook. I'll leave my link and my bios in the description when it's up on YouTube. So if you want to follow me or like me or add me or do whatever you want to do, then feel free. But let's get stuck into SummerSlam. Start kickoff show. I didn't watch. I never really have any interest in it. They're usually just matches that clearly aren't too good or aren't good enough to make the card. It's probably a good job that they didn't have a match on the kickoff show because this show was 4 hours long. Probably still a bit too long. I hope WWE doesn't go for 4 hours for all pay-per-views in the future. Because that would suck. I find myself a couple of times really struggling to stay awake. It was mainly due to the fact that some of the matches were just that good. Other times that it was 3:30 in the morning, and it's tough for me to stay up any time past midnight nowadays, let alone 3:30 in the morning. So I hope they don't go to 4 hours, but I think for a one-off, they did pretty well. In all fairness. But let's get stuck into SummerSlam. We opened up with Jon Stewart, who is a huge wrestling fan, and I think he said it was an honour to do SummerSlam. He's done Raw a couple of times, where he's been like a special guest host or like the special GM. But like I say, he's a massive wrestling fan. He's a pretty good comedian as well. So it's pretty cool that he came out to open that up. And he was talking about the streak and how it shouldn't have ended, and how he wanted to talk on behalf of wrestling fans about how disappointed he was. And in order to get his point across, he wanted to interview Brock Lesnar. Probably not the night to interview Brock Lesnar. Certainly not afterwards, anyway. But he said he was too scared, and he said he needed some help. And he called out the hardcore legend, Mick Foley, to come and help him. It was a weird segment because when Mick came out, Mick announced he was too scared to come and interview Brock Lesnar. Even after everything he's been through, he's lost half his ear, he's been thrown through a cell. You've seen that match. Everybody's seen that match. And he announced he was too scared. It was quite funny when he said, because he's half his ear is missing, that he thought he wanted to interview The Rock, not Brock. That got like a cheap laugh, I think. It was a feel good show, really. There was a lot of funny moments tonight. I'll talk about those quite regularly over some point in this interview. But Foley was too scared, so where'd you go from there? Well, Jon Stewart then decided to pluck up the courage and go backstage to try and find him. It was a weird segment to start. Stewart and Foley didn't look comfortable. Foley especially didn't look comfortable. So you just thought that Stewart's backstage segments would be the filler, if you like, for that extra hour that they were going to put on, but he had a huge part to play tonight, a massive part to play tonight in the outcome of one of the matches. If you've not seen the match, or if you've not seen SummerSlam yet and you're watching this, why you'd be watching this if you haven't seen SummerSlam, I don't know. But I'm not going to say anything until we get to that point. I didn't see it coming. I don't think many people saw it coming. It was pretty. It was a good moment. I'm not going to lie. So that was the Stewart segment. We kicked off SummerSlam match-wise with Randy Orton versus Sheamus. A lot of speculation as to why this went on first. People thought Sheamus was going to cash in. Nope. Thank God. Nobody wants to see Sheamus as WWE champion. I do feel a bit sorry for the bloke, to be honest. He wins Money in the Bank. No one's happy. He turns heel. No one's happy. What can the guy do? Poor bloke. But I'm glad this was put on first. We've seen this match 600 times. We don't need to see it again. They put on a quite good match. They're a pretty decent match, to be fair. I'll give them credit. It was hard hitting. It was tough. It was both men really put a lot of effort into it. It was fair play. Not really too many sort of highlight spots. Randy Orton did his draping DDT off the top rope. That's always pretty impressive. I think the most sort of the highlight, if you like, of the match was Orton's slingshot RKO. Sheamus went for his battering ram, and Orton just turns it into an RKO. I love the catching RKO. I think it's brilliant. You've seen videos of him doing it. It's like Evan Bourne, the one at Raw with again. Trying to get my words out. The one against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, which was incredible. The RKO he hit on Rollins at Raw. It's such a cool move. It's so good. And that was probably the highlight of the match. Sheamus wins with a bro kick. Two, I should say. Orton went for another RKO. Sheamus countered it into a bro kick. Orton bounces off the ropes. Sheamus kicks him straight in the face again. Gets a 3 count. Summerslams off for a bang for Sheamus. His work's done. Match ran about 10 minutes. Not particularly long, but for what they did, the crowd were pretty into it. The crowd were into a lot of stuff all night, except for the Divas match, which, oh dear me. I'll talk about that later. Good grief. That was a train wreck. But yeah, the crowd were pretty hot all night, most of the night. The Cena Rollins match, the crowd just blew up. That was a phenomenal match. Yeah, the crowd were pretty hot. They were even hotter for the next match, which was the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title match, which featured the Primetime Players, who were the champions, Los Matadores, the Lucha Dragons, and the New Day. I have to admit, I was not a big New Day fan. To start with, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I think they just picked 3 mid-card jobbers. Mid-card jobbers I think we go for, and they have turned them into probably the most over tag team in the WWE. And it's just fantastic. Kofi Kingston, Big E, Langston, and Xavier Woods are probably the saviors of the tag team division at the minute. Oh my word, they are just something else. It's incredible. They came out tonight. They were in good mood tonight. Carrying on the feel good theme, they came out singing. And they came out singing to Alicia Keys and Jay-Z's Empire State of Mind. I don't quite know why. They tweaked the lyrics so it sounded... I didn't quite hear what they said, but they tweaked it to make it sound like it was like a new day. And they... Good grief, what they were dressed in. I don't know what you call it. I think people were referring to them as Power Rangers. They were just white and gold. They were glowing in the dark if you turn the lights off. It was pretty spectacular. There were some very choice attires tonight. I think Bray Wyatt's was very, very interesting. Seth Rollins was yet another one. I couldn't quite get my head around what he'd done, but it was very, very strange. I have expected to see the Undertaker coming out dressed like Rey Mysterio. The attires were particularly strange, but we'll talk about the attires when we get to the matches. The match itself was really good. I really enjoyed the tag team match. It was similar to the one at WrestleMania. There was action all over the place. It was quite difficult at times to keep up with sort of who was legal, which is always going to be the disadvantage if you're going to put that many men into the match. Noticed that the Divas didn't have that many problems later on in the night, but they had 100 other problems. I'll stop talking about the Divas until I get to the match, because I could go on all night about how bad it was. The ending was really, really cool. Xavier Wood, apologies. The Lucha Dragons went up to the double suplex the other Las Matadores. They tried to do it to the first one, and they just threw him off the top turnbuckle, and he just fucking died on the floor, probably next to El Torito, who got absolutely destroyed by Xavier Woods. That was probably one of the highlights of the match. The other highlight was at the start of the match, the New Day tried to pin each other to win the titles. That is a legal move. You can do that, which I found out tonight, which was just brilliant. The ending came when Lucha Dragons went for a double superplex on one of the Matadores, Titus O'Neil, who'd come in and just destroyed everybody from a hot tag after Darren Young just got his ass kicked. Titus O'Neil cleaned house, he pulled off a triple superplex. That was cool as hell. But Kofi Kingston had tagged in. No one had really seen it. Apparently the ref had seen it. Referees and timekeepers didn't have a great night. And Kofi came in, kicked the face off Titus O'Neil, and pinned the Matador for the 3 count. And we have new tag team champions, and it is the New Day. I hope their run's a lot better than their first one. Their first one only went for a couple of months, and it was disappointing, to be honest. But now they're over. They're over as hell. And it's just so simple. And that's what you need. What else do you need to get over in the WWE, just apart from a clap and a yes chant? It's so simple. It's unbelievable. And they could just go to the moon and back with these titles. They could hold them for ages. I do think when Tyson Kidd comes back, Cesaro and Kidd will have the titles, because they were pretty over when they had the titles. And when they feuded with the New Day, they were really good matches. So I think when Kidd comes back, you'll see that again, but I've got no problem with that. It was decent when it was out. It was decent when it was there. all four guys did a really, really good job. Xavier Woods is probably my new hero. The guy is just brilliant. I said about him just destroying what's the bull called? El Torito. Yeah, he deserved it really. Yeah, Xavier Woods is just brilliant. I just have him on commentary, just all the time. Never mind JBL and Cole and Jerry Lawler. Just get Xavier Woods, give him a mic, give him a live mic, and just let him commentate the night. It would just be ratings would go through the roof. So that was that one. The match after we had that one was the Ziggler and Rusev match. Still got to really rate a match where the backstory is more important than the guys in the ring. The backstory was all about Summer Rae and Lana, and it was weird because it was more about Rusev. The fact that Lana is his ex, and now he's got Summer Rae who he's dressing up like Lana, and Lana's there, and she's pissed off at Summer Rae, and it's a little bit weird. And Ziggler's just come in, and it's very weird. The match itself it wasn't particularly special. The finish was bollocks. Double count out. Ziggler super kicked Rusev straight into the announce table. Rusev couldn't get back up. Ziggler didn't get into the ring either for the 10 count. Both got counted out. That's really all I remember at the match. There was a cat fight at some point, which was won, if you like, won by Lana and Ziggler. It sets up the mixed tag match at Night of Champions, doesn't it? And that's literally all it does. It's something I don't particularly want to see. Mixed tag matches never really go well. They never really work well in the Attitude Era, if you like. And it's difficult because it's, no disrespect to the women, but the guys are better athletes. Rusev is stupidly agile for his size. Big guys are really, really agile for their size. Talk about Big E, he's one of them. Kevin Owens, who, oh my God, what performance he put on tonight. And especially at NXT as well. Oh my God. Yeah, he was hot. They're just big guys, and they've got such big moves and big physiques, and they're so agile. It's almost scary. They can probably do more than say, like, I don't weigh anything, but they can probably be more agile than I am. Yeah, it's impressive. It's really, really impressive. So yeah, if it is the tag match of Night of Champions, I've really got no problems with it being on. It's just one of those things. It's going to be like not a filler match, but it's going to be a match that no one really cares about. And that's really all I'm going to have to say about that one, to be perfectly honest. The next match we have was Adrian Neville and Stephen Amell versus Stardust and Wade Barrett. The match was all about Amell. And I've got to give him a lot of credit. The guy did very, very well. I know he's obviously like a stuntman and he does all his moves and he's like on a TV show. I've never really watched it. I've never even heard of it, to be honest, until he was announced for SummerSlam. He'd obviously have to do a lot of training to be in the WWE ring, but whoever trained him did a top job. The guy was on point tonight. He took a ass kicking. Yeah, I think a lot of people were surprised about how sort of agile he was. You see like celebrities come in and WWE to do like gimmick matches. Seth Green's done one, or like one or two. He's a huge wrestling fan as well. I tried to do him one actually, as well as Jon Stewart. That would have been pretty cool. Yeah, so gimmick matches at times they can be awful. It depends on the person who's in it. And Stephen Amell is obviously a big wrestling fan, and he put a lot of effort into it. Like I said, he got his ass kicked, probably a lot more than anybody else in that match. Not a great match, it was a bog standard tag match. The finish was probably like a similar to the similar to the Orton Sheamus match. There wasn't anything really spectacular about it. It was just the finish. ML leapt off the outside onto Stardust and Barrett, and Neville put him in the Barrett in the ring and hit the red arrow. Every time I see that move, I just with my mouth open. It's just. The move is incredible. The guy is, I mean, the guy that Garrett forgot is just a moniker, but it's so unbelievably true. The things the guy can do in the ring is unbelievable. I don't want to talk about too much about Wade Barrett, but where does the guy go? I mean, honestly, you have to feel sorry for him. Every time he, I would put Neville and Barrett in the Intercontinental title hunt. That match was next. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I'd put them in the hunt because not so much Neville, but well, not really Neville at all. But Barrett is going absolutely nowhere. He's going into like R-Truth territory, which is really ironic because they've just had a feud and that's just finished. Every time Barrett's Intercontinental champion, he gets injured, and he gets injured for months, and he comes back, and he has quite a cool gimmick. The bad news Barrett gimmick was cool, but then WWE just shuffle it, like move it away. He won King of the Ring, and it did nothing. King of the Ring, by the way, scrap that. Sheamus won it; it didn't do anything for him. Barrett won it. Barrett is going into like just a self-destruction of just nothingness. You feel a bit sorry for him because Ziggler had that as well, where he was just losing matches and matches and matches just constantly in a row, and he's done well to pick himself back up, I should say, and he's really put the effort in, and it's good that he's getting some decent feuds now. But I just don't know where to put Barrett. He'd make a really good Intercontinental champion as long as he didn't get injured. I think I do feel sorry for the guy because he's just in a bad place right now, and I think it's one of those things that if you're at the bottom, it's very, very tough to pull yourself back up from it. So many people have just started so high and gone so low. If you think where Barrett was 4 or 5 years ago with the Nexus, feuding with John Cena for the WWE title, was WWE champion. And where is he now? He's feuding with celebrities and R-Truth. I really feel sorry for the guy, but it's only him that's got to change it around. And if it happens, it happens. But I genuinely can't see it happening. I do feel sorry for the guy. But Neville and Amell pick up the win. I don't really see this feud carrying on. I don't think there was any point to it. I think the sooner Stardust goes back to Cody Rhodes, the better. I'm not a fan of that character. Neville, just keep doing what he's doing. Like I said, give him the Intercontinental title push. And Barrett just needs to go home and take 5. He just needs some time off just to sort of chill out. It's bad. Irony. So the next match we had was the Intercontinental title match, and this was the third match that I wasn't really particularly interested in. The 3 guys involved just did. It was a standard Intercontinental title match. It wasn't the greatest triple threat match I've ever seen in my life. One that I'll probably quickly forget. Ryback retains. Is that the right choice? Probably. I saw someone, because I was streaming this, streaming SummerSlam and tweeting at the same time, and someone put that Ryback needs to win it to keep the prestige of the title. It's difficult to keep prestige of the title when the fans don't care about the superstars that are fighting for it. 2 of the 3 involved got booed, and that says a lot. Big Show doesn't want to be on TV as much anymore. The Miz, just a promo guy. He's entertaining for promos occasionally. But other than that, I'd argue he's just a jobber. A lot like Barrett, WWE champion, didn't take it anywhere. So you've got to feel a bit sorry for him because it is tough. But Ryback, I would argue, I didn't say he carried the match, but he was there or thereabouts. Second funny point of the night was when The Miz hit the Skull Crusher finale on Ryback after he'd shell-shocked Big Show, went to cover Ryback, he kicked out, so he got going back and forth to keep pinning Big Show and Ryback. I think he went 6 times before they just kept kicking out before the ref had even counted to 1. That was pretty funny. He actually got a round of applause for that because I think a lot of people were quite impressed with the fact he just kept going back and forth. That was quite good. Ryback wins. It wasn't a great triple threat match. I almost forgot how he won. Big Show knocked out the Miz. Ryback cleared. Big Show out of the ring. He covered the Miz. Still Intercontinental champion. Do we need Daniel Bryan back? Yes. Yes. It's difficult because he obviously would still be Intercontinental, in my opinion. He obviously still would be Intercontinental champion if he was still fit. I don't think he'll go back for the world title. I don't think he ever will. I know at the minute it's very much in doubt whether he's going to come back into the ring, but if he does, because it goes on prestige, like I said a couple of minutes ago, and the prestige of the title goes with the superstar. Just look at John Cena in the Intercontinental title, the United States title, sorry. The prestige that title had beforehand. I think Dean Ambrose had it for what, 200 days, was it? Something ridiculous like that. And how many times did he defend it? Like, I could probably count on both hands how many times he defended it. It was ridiculous. And the titles were just there because they needed them there. I think, the Intercontinental title, I think, has got about as much prestige as the Divas title at the minute. And it's a bad place to be in because it's still a championship. You should want to fight for that title. You should want to be happy that you've got it. You shouldn't have to just stick it in a match because, it's there and we've not used it for a while. And that's what Bryan bought, and that's what Cena bought, and that's because they're huge superstars, and they that's what they needed to do. They needed to put emphasis on the title by giving it to big stars. Of course, your big star gets injured, it goes back to where it was before, and you go back to square one. It is a vicious cycle. I don't think Ryback's a transitional champion. I think he's a good champion. I think he's done pretty well for himself. I think it was a cool moment at Elimination Chamber when Bryan gave him the title. You could see how much that meant to him. It was really, really cool. It was his first singles title. And I think he's doing his best to put prestige into it. But like I say, it's difficult to do when the fans aren't getting on the back of the star. Ryback's, I would say, is over, but I wouldn't say he's Daniel Bryan over. He's not Seth Rollins over, which is irony because he's meant to be a heel champion, but he's not Brock Lesnar over. And it is difficult. Obviously WWE know where they're going, but this will be interesting where Ryback goes from here. I don't see the Miz getting another title shot. I don't see the Big Show getting another title shot. Who would you have next? Like I said, put Neville up there, give him a shot. Put Barrett up there. Put Stardust up. Put Stephen Amell up there. Why not? Let's give him a go. He did all right. He probably somehow lift Ryback up. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. There's a lot of mid-card superstars at the minute, but I don't think there's many stars that are good enough to hold the title. And that's what you need. You need someone. You don't want to transition the championship. You just want a solid star or a solid mid-card superstar, who can just carry that title and have a good few months with it and then change it, because then it makes it feel like it's a bigger change than what it is if you change it every 3 weeks. So that's what I've got to say about the Intercontinental title. Ryback retains, if you've forgotten about that, after I waffled on about it for about 5 minutes. And so we go to our second segment of the night from Jon Stewart. And he has found Brock Lesnar's dressing room. Knock, knock, knock. Mr. Heyman comes out. Heyman advises Stewart that it is not the right time, if he didn't realise before, to talk to Brock Lesnar. So Jon Stewart goes straight after Heyman. Claims that for the wrestling fans, he is disappointed with the streak and it never should have ended. And he asked Heyman how he felt about it, and it was a solid segment. It was a segment that I think a lot of people have. I think Heyman's probably touched on it a million times before, but it sounded a bit different coming from someone else. It sounds different coming from a guy who is the advocate of the guy who beat the streak, if that makes sense. So coming from someone like an impartial person, if you like, it's actually quite refreshing to hear. Heyman then shot Jon Stewart down with the line. It was something along the lines of, "Why don't you get David Zimmerman to ask me these questions?" Something along those lines. That shot Jon Stewart down. Thanks for coming. See you later, John. And that probably should have been the end of Jon Stewart for tonight, but no. Jon Stewart was back later on with a bang. Nobody saw what he did later coming. It was pretty sweet. We'll get to that very, very shortly. After the Stewart segment, we had, I suppose if you like, the Shield and the Wyatts, 3/4. It was Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Another tag team match. We had 4 on the card tonight. Teddy Long, holla holla. Just in the back, just like, we need some more tag matches, guys. Come on, there's not enough in this card. Again, bog standard tag team match. Not particularly great. Again, a lot like the Ziggler and Rusev match. The ending, fuck right off. 3. Well, I'd say. Before I talk about crowd reactions, Bray Wyatt good God, what the hell was he wearing? Came out, he looked like he'd nicked El Torito's mask. Obviously, because it was dark and you had the fireflies and his lantern come out. All you saw just walking past behind, in front of Luke Harper, was these two just fucking horns on the side of his head. Christ knows what he was doing. I think it was literally just like the body of El Torito just stuffed on his back, just dragged off after Xavier was pummeled him into oblivion in the tag team match. That was pretty weird. Crowd reactions. The Wyatts, Bray is over. As heel as he wants to be, and as many people boo him, he is over. His character is so fucking good. It's so good. The promos he does. I mean, look at what he's done in the past. He carried the feud with The Undertaker and got buried. He carried the feud with John Cena, and of course, because it's fucking John Cena. He beat Roman Reigns at Battleground, but he carried that as well. He is so good, and his promos are too good to waste. And again, he just loses, and the booking is so shit. I feel so sorry for the guy. It's a lot like Barrett. He's got a really cool gimmick, but they just don't know where to go with it. I'm glad Luke Harper's back as well. I think Luke Harper is a very, very underrated superstar. Again, a big man who's agile. He's a guy who can fly. But they get cheered. And it's difficult because if you like a superstar that you know is a heel, but you still have to, you don't have to cheer them, but you want to. It's difficult. Roman Reigns got booed out of the building. That was the first of two that happened tonight. Supposed baby faces that got booed out of the building. Oh dear. Dean Ambrose obviously got a pop. I really like Ambrose. I think he's really cool. It's a very unique style he brings, and it's a style that isn't really in the WWE at the minute, and he's sort of on his own there. You could argue that Luke Harper and Wyatt are in that as well, but Ambrose just sets the bar so high, it's difficult to keep up with him. It was a standard tag team match. It annoyed me because it was almost like a handicap match for most of it. Harper super kicked Roman Reigns straight into the table for the second time. That was a reoccurring theme tonight. Shouts out to Dolph Ziggler. And we didn't see Roman Reigns for about 10 minutes. Dean Ambrose got his ass kicked. His absolute ass kicked. And it was interesting because the crowd started funny moment part 3, the crowd started chanting Roman sleeping because they just hadn't seen him for the tag match. That was pretty cool. All of a sudden Roman Reigns pops up on the apron. Dean Ambrose gets the hot tag. Just a thing about hot tags as well. If you've been battered around the thing for 10 minutes, you should crawl to your side to tag in your partner. You shouldn't crawl and then when you're about 10 feet away from him, leap like a fucking salmon just to get to him, and then just stand on the apron like nothing's been wrong. It's just a small thing, but it's the small things that irritate you more. It's just something that I think shouldn't happen. Like you shouldn't do like a fucking roly poly and tag your partner in. You should just like crawl and just like slap him and then the hot tag and then flying in. Just a little bugbear, but it would just make it seem a bit more real that the guy's been battered for sort of 10 or so minutes. The Shield pick up the win. The finish, oh my god. Wyatt went. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I think Superman punched to Bray Wyatt, who was absolutely out. Ambrose went to pick him up for dirty deeds. Wyatt popped up like fucking John Cena, went for a Sister Abigail. Ambrose hit him with dirty deeds. Roman Reigns came in, spear, 3 count. Fuck off. How over does Roman Reigns need to be before you give him another title shot? Or how much does he have to do? I feel sorry for him in a little way because WrestleMania, I don't think he was ever going to win the title. But WWE have just not done anything with him since. They've not given him any title shots. I would have think he would have won Money in the Bank had Wyatt not interfered, but it is what it is. And I'm just wondering, have they blown the chance with him? If you were going to do it, you were going to pull him at WrestleMania. I know it was scripted, and I know it was set in the stars that he was going to do it, and this, that, and the other, and it was his destiny, and he believes that he's going to win, and all this crap. But if you were going to do it, you do it at Mania. The way they did it with Rollins cashing in was just perfect. But you've just not done anything with Reigns since, and it makes you think that he has just dropped the ball. Um, I know you've got sort of up and coming stars coming in, but not none of them are really title challenger. You know, you look at the NXT lot that are coming in, and maybe in a couple of years, definitely they'll be up there. I think Kevin Owens definitely will be, but I just don't see that happening. With Reigns, I mean, he obviously will get it eventually, but it's going to be a long, long, long path until he gets to it, and that's a bit disappointing because look at where he was 6 months ago, and look where he is now. A lot of people think there was going to be a heel turn in this match, and the Wyatts were going to have a third member in their family. I don't see that. Reigns will be the John Cena, and he won't go heel. He'll just stay face because WWE have too many heels and not enough faces. If you like, Bryan's out injured. Cena can't do it on his own forever, although he probably could because WWE will still book him like that. I've just moaned about Cena constantly, and you think I'm against the guy, but I'm really not. I actually do quite like him. So they're going to have to keep him heel. Ambrose, he's too over. He wouldn't make it. You could turn him as heel as you wanted. He could dirty deeds Vince McMahon, and he'd still be heel. He'd still be face. Sorry. So that wouldn't really work. So a heel turn, although you could see it in a way, it just wouldn't make any sense. But the Shield pick up the win. Where bog standard tag match. Reigns finish bullshit. Reigns, of course, wins because it's Roman Reigns. And then we move on to the first biggie of the night, the title versus title match, Seth Rollins versus John Cena. I have a lot to say about this. Firstly, I don't care who was the main event. I don't care if it was Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker. I don't care if it was Reigns versus Lesnar. If Undertaker came back after 10 years in oblivion, I don't care if it was DX. I don't care who it was. The World Heavyweight title should always be the main event. It's the biggest title in your business. Why put it halfway to 3/4 of the way through the pay-per-view? Especially when it's a title versus title. I know the US title is a mid-card title, so you have to put it in the middle of the show and all this crap. But the main one was the World Heavyweight title. Doesn't matter what match is main event. That always should main event. The rest of it was bollocks. Any excuse or any reasoning WWE have behind that, no, bullshit. The main event should be the World Heavyweight title match. And I know it's John Cena, but no, it doesn't matter. Cena's reaction, number two, he was booed, or if he was booed anymore, the fucking roof would have come off. Oh my god. People in Brooklyn do not like John Cena. It's really funny because the guy, away from the match, I'll give John Cena massive credit. This weekend, he granted his 500th Make-A-Wish for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That is phenomenal. I don't care what you think about John Cena inside the ring. He's only got like 5 moves. He steals people's finishes. The Springboard Stunner, which Stone Cold had something to say about it, which was brilliant. The guy has made an incredible difference to the WWE outside of the wrestling world. To do what he's done in... How long's Make-A-Wish been going? Probably quite a few years, but since Cena started doing it anyway. To do 500 is just unbelievable. Top effort to the guy because that's stunning. WWE have really, really done a lot, improved a lot outside of the wrestling world, and they deserve huge credit for it. Cena is still the star of the company. It doesn't matter how low he is down the card, and for him to do that is very impressive. So my hat's off to you, John. That's really, really cool. Still doesn't stop you getting booed out of the building, buddy, but never mind that. Seth Rollins came out in, I think the New Day must have designed his outfit. Jesus Christ. I saw so many comments on Twitter. I put that he looked like a dildo. Someone had put in he looked like a sperm. He looked like he was just about to join the Power Rangers. There were people taking bets on what he was going to come out next. It was brilliant. He came out. It was literally like what the New Day are wearing. It was just all white and gold. Again, he would have glowed in the dark if the lights were off. It was absolutely brilliant. The match was absolutely sweet. It was so good. Top effort to both guys. There were spots after spots. There was one where Rollins hit a superplex, kept Cena in the suplex hold and turned it into... I thought he was going for a brainbuster, but he just turned it into like a modified... I presume it was a modified suplex, and got a count off that. there was a spot where Rollins went for a frog splash. He caught Cena. He connected with Cena, but Cena rolled through and then went for an AA. Rollins landed on his feet. Cena went to catch him. Rollins sort of rolled through and then hit Cena with an AA. That was fucking cool. Rollins and the Phoenix Splash. What the hell? He hit it at the Royal Rumble against John Cena. I don't think he's hit it since. Not if anyone's seen a Rollins match where he's hit that. Feel free to correct me because that is a hell of a move. The first one he landed on his feet. The second one he landed so hard on his face. Cena hit for an AA, and I thought that was going to be it. And I was just like, for fuck's sake. The whole story behind it was, well, there was two sort of main stories behind it. One, Cena's nose. Whoever put that back together as well, fair play. To do that in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, that's a top job. So Cena spent the match sort of, I think like a slugfest, or if Rollins was using his feet, Cena would sort of cover up and like hide his nose. So that was pretty cool. And the second one was the fact that John Cena was going to tie Ric Flair's all-time record for 16 world titles. Who wants Cena to do it? Probably nobody. He will do it, and that is inevitable. But when? I think a lot of people thought it was going to be tonight. The balls on John Cena. During the match, Cena decides to put in a figure four leg lock. Of course, Ric Flair, the all-time record for world heavyweight titles, finishing move, submission move, the figure four leg lock. If John Cena had won with a figure four leg lock, the Barclays Arena would have imploded. They would have riot in the halls. John Cena would have probably got those titles and not even made it to the other side of the ring before someone had come across and just nailed him. If he had won with that, oh my god, imagine the reaction. Just imagine it. It would have been it would have just been ridiculous. It was. Oh my word. It was a very surreal moment. The ending. Cena went for Rollins with an AA. Rollins was holding onto the ropes. When referees bump, you can tell it's coming. Everybody can tell it's coming. If someone's going for a spear, the ref just stands behind the guy who's going to get speared, and he gets speared. If it's going to be a punch, the ref stands behind him. The ref walked into Rollins, pulling himself off the ropes, got bumped, flew out of the ring. Cena hits an AA, pins him. Obviously, the ref's not there. Looks out of the ring, sees the ref out, calls the doctor to help him. John Stewart comes out, and you just think, oh, for fuck's sake. And you know the problems, obviously, with Rollins and Stewart, and they've obviously had a few problems together. John Stewart comes out with steel chair. Instantly, you're just about to think, well, he's obviously going to help John Cena. But no, the plot thickens, because John Stewart hits John Cena square in the stomach with a steel chair. Rollins pedigrees Cena straight onto the chair. Cover Cena. The ref conveniently comes back into the ring. 3 count. Rollins is still your world heavyweight champion and your new United States champion. I'm glad Rollins won, because Cena will inevitably do it, so it doesn't really matter when Cena wins because it's happening. A point I'm going to make there's 2 points. Firstly, about sort of transparent careers, Cena and Orton. I'll do that in a minute. Number one contender matches. Where the hell are they? John Cena has gone from feuding with Kevin Owens straight into the world title picture. Kevin Owens beat John Cena at Elimination Chamber. Why isn't Kevin Owens getting a title shot? Why don't we have number one contender matches anymore? Because imagine that, Cena and Owens for the title, for a number one contender for a title shot. Where are the contender shots? I know NXT have them. Maybe Triple H can put a good word in with Vinnie Mac, and we'll try and get them back. It just seems weird how, I know it's John Cena, but he's just gone from feuding with Kevin Owens for the US title and putting on 3 matches of the year. They were phenomenal, by the way. Just to being stuck in the main event with Seth Rollins. There's no sort of middle ground. If you had Cena and Owens in a number one contendership on Raw, so Cena could then go and face Rollins, fair enough. But there's just nothing now. It's gone from one to the other. Owens has gone, I wouldn't say backwards, but he's gone back a little bit, whereas Cena has just gone straight up to the title shot. I know it's John Cena, and everyone's like, he's going to be the champion, and he is. And a lot of people are shitting on it, but you can't argue with the fact the guy deserves it. He is the face of the company, if you try and picture a world, I know you've got NXT, and I know how good that is, but everyone talks about sort of the next generation. Are the next generation the next John Cena's? You've got to ask yourself that. Transitional career paths. Cena and Orton had probably one of the biggest rivalries, I'll argue, in the last 10 years. It went on for years. Cena and Orton won final time, culminated in a table stars and chairs match where Orton won WWE World Heavyweight title. Since then, their careers have gone very, very different paths. John Cena is now main eventing, still going for the World Heavyweight title, and he's the US champ, and he's putting matches of the year on. Randy Orton's feuding with Sheamus, opening up SummerSlam. Both guys have been in very, very similar years. Orton's a third-generation star. Cena's this, that, and the other. And I know that their careers are coming to an end, but they're going at very different paths. Cena's is going to be... They're both Hall of Famers. That's a start. But they're both going the wrong way about it. Orton's drifting off into the distance, and Cena's still going, just charging at 100 miles an hour towards legacy. The dynasty that is John Cena, to quote CM Punk. He is going to be the most decorated superstar ever. And it's a bit sad, really, because you want Randy Orton to be on that same level as John Cena, but it's just not happening, and it's disappointing. And it's a shame. I know you can argue all you want that Orton is not at the same level as John Cena, but Orton's a 13-time world champion, or 12-time champion, or whatever he is. He's a multiple-time champion. He deserves to be. He doesn't deserve to be feuding with Sheamus. No disrespect to Sheamus, but surely Orton should be pushed up there. I know Orton has had title matches, but it's not on the same consistency as John Cena, and that's the point I'm trying to make. And it's a bit of a shame, but that's just my opinion on it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Rollins beat Cena thanks to the help of Jon Stewart. Super match. Crowd were burned out. And then we get to the Divas. Oh, dear. The Divas match. It was a triple threat, 9-diva match, if you like. It was Team Bella against Team Bad against Team, I think it was PCB. I think they've changed the name from the Submission Sobriety, which is a pornographic website. WWE family found. I don't even know what to say. Backtrack 24 hours from SummerSlam. You've got Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I will argue that is the best Divas match I've ever seen in the last 10 years. Agree? It stole the show. It was better than Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. It was so good. You could tell by the reaction at the end when even Sasha Banks, who's the heel, and Charlotte and Becky Lynch came out, and the reaction of those four and the crowd. Oh my god, the match was just incredible. 24 hours later, you go to this. Jesus Christ. I don't even know where to start. Whatever match was going to be after that, Rollins and Cena just had no chance. Doesn't matter if it was Owens and Cesaro. If it was Taker and Lesnar, it would have had no chance. The crowd were just burned out. And I do feel really sorry for them because they tried, but they fucking failed. The crowd didn't care. I very rare. The only bit I remember was the finish, mainly because it was so fucking bad. Brie Bella went to the top rope. When you go to the top rope, you usually measure where your opponent is and you go for him. I don't think Brie Bella did that. She just went for a missile drop kick. I don't think Becky Lynch had to move because Brie Bella, all you saw was Brie Bella just fucking fly past her. Becky Lynch hit, I think it was a finishing move, whatever it was, or a submission. I was falling asleep at this point. And Becky Lynch, I think it's Team PCB, pick up the win. And that's really all I need to say about that match. It was summed up by Brie Bella missing that dropkick. It was so bad. It was unbelievable. Um, it, I'm just watching it back in my head, and it was just, oh dear me, that was horrendous. You talk about the Divas Revolution, and the Divas Revolution has revolved full circle, and it's just gone back to where it was like a couple of months ago. Stephanie, you need to sort that out right now, starting with Monday Night Raw, because Jesus Christ, that was horrendous. Moving on, swiftly on, Kevin Owens against Cesaro. Kevin Owens, hat off to you, sir. The night before, you put on a sick ladder match with Finn Balor. Incredible ladder match. The bumps that Owens took in that match, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, because the bumps that Owens took was unbelievable. He must have had a fucking headache in the morning. Yeah, good match, good solid singles match. Both guys stupidly strong, some great spots. Cesaro's strength is just ridiculous. There was one spot in particular where he hit a gut wrench powerbomb. Just a gut wrench suplex off the top rope. And you just think, Jesus Christ, God. Kevin Owens wins, probably the right decision. He's struggled a bit for singles wins, Owens, really, since he's been on the WWE. He's had one against Cena, and I think he's had a couple of others, but nothing really to sort of shout about. So that's a big win for him. But yeah, it was really good. I was thinking about it when I was watching it. Could Cesaro and Kevin Owens be main eventers? Kevin Owens is definitely up there. I know Vince and company, after his feud with Cena, doesn't think so, but I think he could. I think Cesaro could as well. I really think Cesaro is a top star. He's got everything. He's strong. He's quick. He's agile. Another big guy, if you like, and he's over. And fans really, really like him. I know they're trying to fit him into a place until Kid comes back and they'll go back for the tag team titles. I think that's pretty obvious. But if that went wrong, could you see Cesaro as a main eventer? I mean, he's won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at Mania last year. He's definitely up there. I give him a shot at least. There's no harm in trying. If you say try, you just go back to where he was before. Just slot him back in nicely. You've got to give stars a chance at the time. They did it with Ziggler. Didn't work out, but they pushed him and they dropped the ball. Ziggler dropped the ball, I should say. But they let him go and he gave him that chance. But yeah, a really good match. Owens picks up the win, like I said, with his pop-up powerbomb. Yeah, good match. Fair play to both. And then we get to the main event. Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. Wow, is all I can say. I really enjoyed this match until the finish. Don't know really what the finish was about. I'll talk to that in a minute. Lesnar comes out, entrance, fair enough. No pyro to start with, but he gets a pyro when he hops up onto the ring apron. Undertaker comes out. As soon as he gets into the ring, before he's even taken his coat off, before the even bells rang, Lesnar's on him like a fucking fly around shit. Undertaker gets hit with a hand, clotheslines him over the top rope, takes his coat off, bell rings, we're off. Lesnar obviously takes control. I did find it funny as well. Paddy Power put out a bet. They were going to pay out everybody who bet on Lesnar suplexing Undertaker more than 3 times. Bet you lost some money, boys. That was quite funny. That was the first funny part of the match. The second one came later on, and I could not stop laughing. The Vine is everywhere. But during the match, Lesnar F5'd The Undertaker through the French announce table, not the Spanish one. Those boys got a night off. He F5'd The Undertaker 3 times. It was a bog standard sort of like huge fisticuffs. The big guy gets advantage match. Lesnar dominant, but Taker making comeback after comeback. Undertaker got F5 3 times and still kicked out. Should Brock have won? Yeah. It's difficult. It's difficult where really know to talk about this match, especially at that when I've just asked myself that question. Let's talk about the finish, and then we'll go through everything else. Brock Lesnar had Undertaker in the Kimura, and the timekeeper rang the bell. Match is over. Brock Lesnar wins. The crowd didn't see anything, don't see him tapping out. The camera angle doesn't even show the Undertaker tapping out. Everyone's confused. What the fuck is going on? The referee goes absolutely ballistic. I didn't ring the bell. I didn't tell you to ring the bell. Restart the match. The crowd are just confused. The commentator's confused. I'm confused. I've not a fucking clue what's going on. The match restarts. Undertaker puts in Hell. Well, I think restarts. I don't really know. I still don't know what happened. Puts in Hell's Gate. Lesnar passes out, and Undertaker apparently wins. What the fuck? What kind of a finish is that? If you look at the camera angles on the replay, it shows Taker tapping out. Paul Heyman goes absolutely spare, grabs the microphone, goes over to the timekeeper's ring, rings the bell, and then declares Brock Lesnar as the winner. Help. I know this sets up a rematch for, I presume, at WrestleMania 32. I can't see Taker coming back at Night of Champions, especially with the rumor that he. Well, it's not a rumor. It's he. I don't know if anyone saw this, but he collapsed on his way back to the back. Just as he got back, you could just see him collapse and then crawl his way back into the curtain. I hope the dude's all right, by the way. I knew he's had surgery. We know he collapsed backstage at WrestleMania last year when he lost to Lesnar. Yeah, so I hope the dude's all right. But it sets up a rematch for WrestleMania. So that's what, 8 months, 6 months, something like that. So I suppose that would be pretty cool when it comes. I presume that'll be Undertaker's last Mania because it's in his home state. Yeah, so confusion everywhere. I've got to talk about the funny moment because oh my god, Undertaker hit a tombstone on Brock Lesnar, went for the pin. Lesnar kicks out. Lesnar sits up and starts laughing at the Undertaker. The Undertaker then sits up, turns to Brock Lesnar, and just laughs straight back in his face. I've never laughed so much at anything to do with wrestling in my life. It was so funny. The Vine's everywhere. It's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. If you follow my Twitter afterwards, I've got it up there. I think I've retweeted it about 5 times. It's fucking brilliant. You can just use it for anything. It's so funny. Second point, Brock Lesnar got busted open again. Credit to his match against Reigns at WrestleMania. It's the second person who got busted open tonight. Randy Orton was the first one. Are we bringing blood back? I don't think so, but is it callousness? Are we blading? It's illegal, but I think they were obviously accidents. I don't think it wasn't. They weren't. It wasn't dripping all over the mat. No one was slipping over in it. It was sort of it was noticeable. It was also funny that the ref kept putting the gloves on, but nobody went to check on him to see if he was all right. That was quite entertaining. So yeah, are we bringing him leading back? Is it slowly working its way back into the WWE? Who knows? It might just be a one-off thing. I mean, the last time it happened was Mania, and then Lesnar did get busted open. Jesus, hit that ring post hard. But yeah, what are your thoughts on it? Do we need to bring it back? Do we need to bring back a bit of authenticity into the WWE? Possibly. I wouldn't say no to it. Third funny point of the match before we wrap this up. When Undertaker put in Hell's Gate after whatever kind of finish was going on, Brock Lesnar, there's also a picture on my Twitter, stuck the middle finger up to the Undertaker halfway through it. It was brilliant. I think Michael Cole called it, or JBL called it, as the defiance of Brock Lesnar. It just summed it up perfectly. Lesnar's intensity is just incredible. The dude is so over, and he's so good. I don't even think even his Suplex City, the thing he started, I don't think he realised how big it was going to be. And he's just carrying it on himself. I think he called it out twice tonight. He was just like, Suplex City, bitch. And it's just huge. The guy's a star. The guy's awesome. But apart from the finish, the match was pretty good. It was so much better than that match at WrestleMania, which really was disappointing. It's going to set up a rematch. When it's going to be is anybody's guess. Most likely it'll be Mania, but who won? Taker won. It'll go down the record books. Heyman says it's going to be Lesnar. Heyman will have a lot to say on Raw tonight, and I cannot wait to see it. But for now, guys, that is it. Like I said, I'll put my link in the Facebook and Twitter on my bio on the YouTube description when I put this video up. Hope you enjoyed it for a first video. I've had a lot of fun making it. I'll make plenty more if you guys want to see plenty more. Follow me, subscribe me, like me, at me, whatever else social media does nowadays. Do all that. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm out. I'm Alex. See you later.